granted, no one has that good of a mono black devotion matchup. I mean, there's a reason the deck's so good. And certainly when you're playing against Owen Turtenwald playing it, I'm not sure your matchup can be that good, but he's got a pretty good weapon for this match.
Well, this deck list also looks like what we saw in the finals of our Providence Open from Gino Bautista as well. Looks very familiar to me. As you mentioned, a lot of red creatures, just a couple of spells, 4 Lightning Strike, 2 Shock, a Searing Blood, and 2 Magma Jets, where Bautista in Providence just had 4 Lightning Strikes and 2 Searing Blood. So a few more spells, a few less creatures and lands, but by and large, the same idea here. Turtenwald's deck list, the only thing that he said about his deck is he would cut a land for anything. He's got 26, where he used to normally just have 25.
Up to the land count and regretting it?
Yeah,
what you're saying?
I guess he's still doing just fine, however.
Yeah.
We will watch these two players do battle. Hopefully we'll have a chance to go over to the Sparkman-Ravitz matchup, the mono-black, basically mirror. Again, Ravitz does have some green cards there. But besides that, we got a lot of mono-black. A lot of mono-black. This hasn't happened for a little while.
Real good. I mean, especially as a metagame opens up more, you know, powerful strategies can do well. We have seen a pretty open metagame. So what that means is people aren't targeting mono black as hard, and when they stop targeting it, these decks do show why they were good in the first place.
Well, Turtenwald will have the option to play first, as he is your 3rd seed against Festus, playing mono red devotion. Of course, after this game is over, we'll bring it back here. Matthias and I will prepare ourselves for a trivia question. 6 months of premium will be given away here in our semifinal round. And of course, if you do want to join in on the conversation and talk about how good the player on the left is at SCG Live, hashtag SCGINVI for your tweets. It is always a joy to watch the greats play. I know we'll get to see Reed Duke a little bit later today as well, with a deck that you just have to love. Blue-white control, actual do nothing.
Do you have 0 Elspeth?
Yes, 0 Elspeth, 0 Aether Link.
Oh man, that's so cool.
He has an Elixir and some Mutavaults, and Jace's to Ultimate. That's it.
I did that at F&M for a while, but I did that just because kind of...
Coward.
Yeah, you're right. I didn't actually think you can do that in competitive play.
And with 50 minutes to play.
No, I know. I mean, it's awesome. I mean, I play like 1 Elspeth, and it's the card I hate the most in the deck.
We are underway here in a semifinals. Turtenwald going to play a Swamp before passing the turn back over to Resendez, who will play a Rakdos Cackler Unleashed. Turtenwald will take a draw again. He knows what he's up against because deck lists are public information. Devour Flesh will take care of the Cackler.
Yeah, these heavy 1-drop starts, those are the things that can get to Owen. Fortunately for him, he has that turn 2 kill spell to mitigate some of the damage. We'll see just how many creatures Resendez can make. Like, were Resendez on the play, this would be just a terrifying draw for Owen.
A Burning Emissary into a Firefish Striker. This is a Lifebane zombie. Turtenwald's going to take a look and record this information. A Shock, an Ashes Zealot, a Mountain, and a Mutavault. Still a pretty good hand.
Yeah, despite the fact that Festus is playing mono red, Lifebane zombie not dead here. It has potential to hit Boros Reckoner. I guess on a real good day, it could hit a Burning Tree Emissary too.
It would have to be a real good day.
He'd have to have probably have an Ash Zealot on turn. If he had Ash Zealot and Emissary and nothing to play off the Emissary, we probably would have seen him Ash Zealot there instead. Then it would have hit the Emissary. But you're right, but it can get Boros Reckoner.
Resendez is going to play a Mutavault on this turn. Have the option to play a Mountain. We could have seen a turn of Shock your Lifebane Zombie, play an Ash Zealot, keep attacking. Instead, what we're going to see is Shock your Lifebane Zombie and just attack here for 4. So not the most efficient of turns there, as he should have been able to play something else, either a Phoenix or playing an Ash Zealot and a Mountain. So missing this damage may come back to hurt him here.
I think you saw a little bit of hesitation there, Festus realizing, hey, that he wanted to shock it, realizing that the Mutavault didn't have haste. So yeah, a little bit of dropped damage there. We'll see whether or not it comes back to get him. It does mean he gets to swing with Mutavault next turn, which is pretty good here.
That's certainly a step in the right direction. But you do want to be as mana efficient as you possibly can be, as Turtenwald's going to play another Mutavault and simply pass the turn back over to Resendez, who does draw a card for the turn. Looks like it may have been a Burning Tree Emissary. There is the Mountain that Turtenwald does know about. You see him cross it off of his paper. We'll see what the follow-up is going to be. Assuming that there is one. This is 2 mana. Looks to be Ash Zealot. Actually going to be Burning Tree Emissary. So that'll come in. Yeah, with that on the stack, we're going to have a Devour Flesh. So Burning Tree Emissary not in play just yet.
Yeah, it looks like Resendez is planning to curve that Burning Tree Emissary into a Chandra's Phoenix. I like how Owen's playing this. You know, he had the option to Underworld Connections, but decided he didn't have the time. He's just trying to 1-for-1, whether that's using his Mutavaults, his Devour Fleshes, what have you.
There is the Phoenix that you did mention, and into the red zone it's going to go. Firefish Striker's going to hang out on defense. No interest in trading with the Mutavault, so Turtenwald's just going to go down to 14. Turtenwald will untap. It's time to take a draw. See what he finds on this turn. Again, you did mention he has Underworld Connections in his hand, but a little late to the party is that card.
Owen's doing a great job of mitigating damage here. Resendez has a lot of creatures, but Owen somehow, still at 14 life right now. He actually hasn't taken very many hits.
3 mana here. Looks like a Lifebane zombie. There's the Ash Zealot, and Turtenwald doesn't know about it. All he can do is pass the turn back over to Resendez, who will draw a card. Has the ability to play Ash Zealot as well as attack, but looks like he picked up a copy of Lightning Strike. So there is Ash Zealot. Let's see if he wants to fire Mutavault or not.
The tempo part of the game has ended here. Festus has now managed to get all his creatures in play, and now it's really just, the math of the situation. Does Owen have enough kill spells and guys to deal with these creatures?
Lightning Strike's going to take care of Mutavault. 8 damage is going to come across. Turtenwald's going to go down to 6. Looks like there's a Connections, maybe a Desecration Demon over there. Don't know if he has 5th land plus Gray Merchant, a card that would actually be able to help here. I'm not sure it would win him the game, but it would certainly help in this situation.
Yeah, despite all the positioning that Owen has, with the lack of a true sweeper out of mono black, the numbers just don't add up. I don't think he has enough blockers and kill spells to stop all this damage.
Well, I will say this, it's a good thing mono black doesn't have a true sweeper. The deck would be too good, as that is a 3rd Mutavault there for Turtenwald. All you can do is pass the turn back. Resendez will untap. It's time to take a draw. Let's see if he finds anything here, or does he even need anything else? Well, looks like this might be a haste creature if he's casting it. A Firefish Striker right now. There's an activation of Mutavault. Looks like everybody's going to come to the red zone here in just a moment. Outside of that brand new Firefish Striker, and Turtenwald is going to concede the game. So Festus Resendez with Mono Red Devotion is going to win this game over Owen Turtenwald playing Mono Black Devotion. We'll turn our attention to the sideboards in just a moment, but we're going to bring it back to the booth here. Cedric Phillips, Matthias Hunt starts the game's open series here. It's time for a trivia giveaway. You got the rules, I'll do the question.
All right, so the rules, if you're joining us, is Cedric's going to go ahead and ask you a question. And if you believe you know the answer to it, make sure you go on Twitter, tweet the answer with the hashtag SCG Premium. You see it on the bottom of your screen. Make sure you're following SCG Live, and at the end of the round, we'll be giving away 6 months of Star Speed Premium to one's correctly selected answer.
That is correct. And the question here, very simply, we take a look at Turtenwald's deck list. He's got a lot of 4-ofs, which is obvious because that's kind of what this deck does. He's got 26 lands and he has 2 singletons. One of them is a Bile Blight. The question, of course, is what is the other one of removal spell in Turtenwald's deck list? And if you can name that card, hashtag the answer with SCG Premium. Make sure you're following at SCG Live. And again, we will announce the winner at the conclusion of our semifinal round. So it is about accuracy, not speed, as we turn our attention back to the match. And that means we're going to turn our attentions over to the sideboard here. We'll start with Turtenwald, where you can see a Pithing Needle, Bile Blight, 2 Dark Betrayal, 4 copies of Doomblade, 2 Erebos, God of the Dead, 4 copies of Duress, and a Read the Bones. What do you like there?
Well, this is just a hard matchup for Owen. As you saw there, 5 creatures is really hard for him to deal with. A lot of times black players play Drown and Sorrow in their sideboard to deal with situations like that. Owen's has no such thing right now, so things won't get too much better for him. He will certainly board in the Bile Blight. Bile Blight has the potential to be a sweeper in some situations. If Festus draws multiple cards of the same name, he's going to play them all anyway. So I mentioned Owen will use that. He also will likely just make his cards cheaper whenever possible. He'll probably board in Doomblades. They're the same card as Hero's Downfall in this matchup. He may want to have both, but certainly he'll start cutting Downfalls before he starts cutting Doomblades.
On the other side, you'll see 3 Searing Bloods, 4 Skullcrack, 2 Harness by Force, 4 Mizium Orders, and 2 copies of Toil Trouble. What do you like on Resendez's side?
Not too much. Skullcrack's fine. It stops a Gray Merchant. Gray Merchant's one of the ways you lose, but I'm not even positive how much I like that.
I'm a fan of Searing Blood in this matchup. I think that, between Lifebane Zombie, Pack Rat, and the fact that he has access to deck list, he knows exactly what Turtenwald is working with, and those are some pretty juicy targets for Searing Blood.
Yeah, I think if you board in Searing Bloods, I don't want to use Skullcracks. I'd still want to keep my creature count very high, as I think, that is the weakness of the mono black deck, is that you can just, as we saw game 1, he just played far too many creatures. But yeah, Searing Blood's pretty good. It takes care of Mutavault. It does get rid of a lot of Owen's early blockers. So there's a pretty good argument for that.
Well, both players will shuffle up here. Turtenwald will be on the play, being told that Joshua Ravitz has won game number 1 over Jeremy Sparkman. Black-Green Devotion up a game over Mono Black Devotion. We're going to have a Black Devotion deck in the finals anyway. The question is, will it be a splash or not? And we could, of course, have a Mono Black Devotion mirror as well. But Resendez is trying to play spoiler here with Mono Red Devotion, a deck that we don't see a ton of. Again, a version of this deck making the finals in Providence last weekend before being dispatched by Ross Merriam playing Mono Blue Devotion. But maybe these red decks are making their way back onto the map now.
Well, certainly this is a much more favorable top 8 for this deck than Mono Blue. The red decks have had trouble with Mono Blue Devotion for the majority of the season. On the flip side, they're pretty good against Mono Black. And we see that, like I said, we saw in game 1 the ability of Resendez to just make a lot of creatures. He had a pretty good hand there. You know, he did have 1 creature on turn 1, 2 creatures on turn 2, and then a follow-up of a creature turn 3, another one turn 4, and some Mutavault action along with removal. That's pretty much the formula he wants to follow. The scary part is that Owen had a turn 2 kill spell. He had a pretty good hand. He was on the play and still was overrun with damage to spare.
Yeah, the thing I'd be worried about here if I'm Turtenwald is I just don't have my sideboard geared towards beating red strategies. He does have 4 Doomblades, which will be helpful for duress. Some number of those I imagine will come in after sideboard. I don't think he needs the full 4, but no copies of Drowned in Sorrow, no copies of Pharika's Cure. Heck, not even Nightveil Spectre, going with Lifebane Zombie instead. Spectre's much better against these red decks than Zombie is, so you can tell that he's geared his deck maybe towards trying to beat other things and definitely not a mono red beatdown or devotion style strategy.
Yeah, Owen's deck a lot stronger, say, against red-green monsters. That would be the deck I'm saying, you know, the Lifebane Zombies instead of Nightveils, a great upgrade against monsters. Having a full set of Doomblades, no cures, great against those mid-range decks. But he was not tuned to beat this today. That doesn't mean he can't win it, but it doesn't mean it's going to be hard for him.
We will be underway shortly. Again, Josh Ravitz on the other side of the bracket has won game number 1 over Jeremy Sparkman. Black-Green Devotion is up a game over Mono Black Devotion. And after we do conclude our elimination rounds here of our Standard Open, we head into the big show, the Invitational elimination rounds. A lot of Magic to be played there, a lot of Magic to be watched there, but only 1 champion, only 1 person taking home $10,000, an invite to the Players' Championship, and of course their likeness on a token.
Yeah, pretty big prizes. Remember, they will also be playing Standard. That metagame pretty diverse. It's not kind of the swamp fest that the Standard Open turned out to be.
Does not look like this, that is for sure. Turtenwald going to take a look at his opening hand. I saw at least 1 land, looks like a couple of removal spells over there. It's really all he's looking for. Looking to get a board set up where Desecration Demon is too much for Resendez to handle, but he does not like what he sees, so he's going to send it back for 6 cards. We'll see if Resendez is happy with what he's looking at.
He's got to be pretty happy, like I said, with this top 8 in general. Resendez was the first player to win in the top 8. He won in 2 quick games. And you see he takes a quick game over Owen right now. If he wins this Open, Resendez will play only Gray Merchant decks the entire way through. And so far, he hasn't dropped a game against one.
Looks like he's a little unsure if he wants to keep that hand or not. Really giving that the look over. But if this is going to be able to get the job done. Turtenwald shuffling his deck on a mulligan, waiting patiently to see if Resendez is happy with what he's looking at. And it looks like the answer is yes. So, Turtenwald going to pile shuffle out, and we'll be ready to play here in just a moment. Of course, when we do have the update on the Ravitz-Sparkman match, we will certainly deliver it over to you. And Festus does keep 7 cards here after some deliberation. Let's not forget either, we do have a Legacy Open here in the works as well. That's kind of going to be behind the scenes. We'll turn our attention to that after our Invitational champion is crowned. I know that we've got a lot of players filing in for this bad boy. Jerry Thompson is playing lands again, so that'll be fun to watch. We'll see how he does with that. Some modifications to what he played in the Invitational. And a bevy of other players will be joining in on that Legacy Open. I imagine a large attendance and a fun tournament to watch there as well.
Yeah, kind of a whole championship schedule here. We start out with our Standard top 8, then we go into the Invitational top 8, finish it off with Legacy, culminating in another champion for the day.
Yeah, 3 champions will be crowned, 3 trophies given away, a whole bunch of money as well as we work our way through Season 3 here. This is the first Open of Season 3, so it's crazy to think about. We're almost halfway through the year already, as Turtenwald is going to start with a Swamp. Resendez here has a Rakdos Cackler on turn 1 yet again. Turtenwald draws a Swamp, going to fire for Devour Flesh. Looks very reminiscent of what we saw in game number 1. Resendez will gain 2 life, go to 22 from the Devour Flesh, take a draw here. Burning Tree Emissary is what he found.
Yeah, it's all about keeping pace for Owen here. Resendez does have the turn 2 Emissary. He doesn't have anything to curve it into here, which is pretty good for Owen. Last time, Resendez was just able to put out threats too quickly for Owen to deal with them.
Yeah, it's just going to be a shock of going upstairs, so Turtenwald's going to go to 18. Feels like a pretty good turn there if you're Owen. Not have to worry about 2 threats at this point. Turtenwald just going to pass the turn back after playing a swamp. The ability to cast Hero's Downfall or something else this turn. 3 mana will be tapped. Mutavault the land that was played. Here comes a Phoenix. In we go. Turtenwald going to take care of the Emissary. Doesn't want to take care of the threat that can continuously come back. So he will draw a card here. We'll see if he has the very important Desecration Demon on turn 4. The answer is no, he does not. But his life total is pretty high right now at 16.
Yeah, that's a pretty aggressive shock from Resendez. It does have to worry about mana efficiency a bit here. You see, he keeps sending in more damage. He does want to make sure he doesn't lose his ability to buy back his Chandra's Phoenix if Owen kills it. That said, we do see more burning Resendez's hand. And more importantly, Owen doesn't have any threat of his own to stabilize with, like, as you mentioned, a Desecration Demon.
Firefish Striker going to come to the party. In for 2 in the air comes Resendez. Turtenwald going to go down to 12. Doomblade's going to take care of Firefish Striker. You see, he's never taken care of the Phoenix. You have to imagine that's deliberate here in this situation. He's had the option to multiple times, but he doesn't want to take care of the threat that can continuously come back.
Yeah, he'd love to snag something like that Mutavault here. It is making the Devour Flesh in Owen's hand pretty awkward, as he can't make Devour Flesh not hit the Phoenix.
Yep.
I think eventually he's just, he's taking his opportunity here. He sees the Resendez is stuck on mana. So at the very least, if Resendez needs to rebuy the Chandra's Phoenix, he's going to have to spend a turn burning Owen, then a turn casting the Phoenix. It gives Owen time to find a card like Grey Merchant or Desecration Demon to start stabilizing with.
Boros Reckoner the draw here for Resendez, but he can't cast that one. And all he can do is pass the turn back over to Turtenwald. Turtenwald got to be happy with how that just went. Again, Turtenwald's hand right now, 2 copies of Grey Merchant. He's going to deploy 1. This will be a little drain and a little gain here. 4 toughness being key in this situation. Going to dodge a Lightning Strike and a Searing Blood.
Yeah, don't be fooled about Festus passing the turn, though. He still has plays. We're going to see an end-step Lightning Strike buying back that Phoenix.
And Turtenwald's going to go down to 11. Phoenix is going to go to the grip. Resendez will untap. He's going to take a draw. See if he finds a mountain for Boros Reckoner. He does not. It's a Fanatic of Mogus, which is still pretty good, because this game is going to have quite a few turns left. As Turtenwald's going to take 2 in the air yet again. Going to go down to 9. He'll quickly untap and take a draw. Again, I believe he has another copy of Grey Merchant in his hand. He's going to start by attacking with the one that's in play. Resendez is going to go down to 20. Turtenwald still at 9, but up to 13. And Resendez is going to go down to 16. So the race is on.
Yeah, Owen's going to have to close out this game rather quickly. We see Resendez really struggling on his mana, but as soon as he starts hitting, his deck's going to be firing. It's going to be Boros Reckoner into cards like Fanatic Amogus. Remember, that would be a 4-2 that deals 6. Owen's pretty much out of kill spells, and his life total, while high, isn't that high. So his best defense right now is going to be a good offense.
In for 2 comes Resendez. Turtenwald down to 11. All Resendez can do is pass the turn, but as you mentioned, burn spells are at the ready. The race is certainly on in this situation. Turtenwald will draw a card. Have to imagine he's looking for more copies of Grey Merchant, more removal spells as well. Desecration Demon also not so bad on this board. Resendez going to take 4, go down to 12. Maybe blocking, doesn't look like he's going to. So yeah, he's going to take 4, go down to 12. Turtenwald, maybe this is a pack rat? It is.
It is. And best defense is a good offense, and this is quite the offense. I really like the pack rat from Owen.
It's a pretty good offense now for Resendez, however, because there's a Searing Blood. Turtenwald's going to discard a Swamp to make another rat, but he's going to have to take 3 from that and go down to 8.
Yeah, that's pretty pivotal. That was a burn spell that Festus wasn't able to cast yet, and he's finally able to capitalize on it because Owen played the pack rat.
Turtenwald's going to go down to 4. Take a draw, will Owen. See if he finds a removal spell that he's looking for, as I do not think he can present lethal on this turn. He can attack for 2-4. Mutavault's going to make it 6. That rat will be, that'll be an 8. And he can make it into a 9, but it's not going to be enough damage to get through. So Turtenwald says, all right, here I come for 2, 4, 6. Puts you down to 6. I have to leave a Grey Merchant on defense. Looks like he's representing a removal spell in this situation.
Yeah, he's representing a removal spell, but there's a lot of things he can't play around. If there's another burn spell in Festus's hand, he's going to have lethal. And I believe he has one as well. You see Lightning Strike at the top there.
A land for Fanatic of Mogus is pretty good right now as well. He's going to fire up Mutavault. He's going to send in. The question is this a Bile Blight? Because that's probably the best draw. It's going to be a Hero's Downfall. And now that's a Lightning Strike, an extension of the hand. Festus Resendez is going to win this match over Owen Turtenwald, 2-0. Mono Red Devotion has not lost to Mono Black yet in this top 8.
No, and you see there, Festus